I call that they don't like to see you winning. They wanna see you in a penitentiary. I need me a little baby who gon' listen. Girl, I don't wanna be the one you ignorant. My mama told me, boy, make a decision.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Clutch Talk podcast / YouTube / We Do It All. And you see who we got here today. We got my guy Junior in the building, man. Junior, how you doing?
Yo, doing good.
Nah, man, happy to have you. And we got a very, very, very special guest, man. We got my guy Faraz in the building, man. But I like to call him Frosty because he's so cold on the court, man. So talk to me, Faraz. How you doing, man? We happy to have you on.
Hey, man, I'm doing good, man. I'm blessed to be here, bro. Thank you for having me, my guy.
It's all good, bro. It's all
good.
We
gotta shout out this man's beanie real quick. Beanie game on point, man.
Hey, bro, I appreciate it, man. LA all the way, you know the deal.
Laker Nation, man. We're just going. Everybody, our views are just gonna drop now because everybody hates it. No, stick around. We promise it's a good pod.
But yes, man. So yeah, guys, we got a real special episode and lined up for you guys today, man. We got the top 5 MVP candidates, man. And let me say, this list was tough to make, y'all. This list was tough to make. Like how Junior mentioned before we got on, like we know who's the top 5, but even number 5 could end up being number 1 by the end of the season, man. So this is gonna be a crazy season, man. So without no further ado, y'all ready to get into this?
I'm ready.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but before we do get into this, I want to ask you guys something. To you guys personally, like what makes an MVP? So yeah, go ahead. We start with you, Faraz, man. What makes an MVP to you?
Honestly, I feel like what makes an MVP is just being the guy, man. Like you just gotta be the guy. You gotta be able to carry your team, show up every game, bro. Whether your body's hurting, whether you're just not in the mood, you just gotta be in the game, man. You gotta carry your team to victories. That's the main thing. You gotta be putting up numbers, but victories are the number one thing. If your team is winning, that makes you an MVP for sure.
Definitely, Junior. How you feel about the MVP? You agree
with
that?
Faraz, he hit all the points, man. Like that's it. You gotta really be putting up the numbers. And you got to be carrying your team to, you got to be like top 1 or 2 at worst in your conference. I think the only time in, I don't know if ever, but at least in a long time that they didn't have a top two team player win the MVP was Russell Westbrook. And that's because he literally averaged a triple-double that season. Like it's something historic had to happen, So you got to be getting the results on the court and be putting up the individual numbers. That's what I think is going to make an MVP. You got to be having a breakthrough type of thing, be just head and shoulders above the competition.
Definitely. It's I mean, you guys hit it perfectly on the nail. The only thing I would add is just impact on the team, like how your team is when you're off the court versus when you're on the court. I think that's huge. If your team is severely worse when you're on the court, then you're a very impactful player. It's the most valuable player. So though,
real quick, before we leave this, like it's interesting because I agree with that, but that's not how they do it, which is a little weird.
Yeah.
Like, you see, like remember when the Lakers had LeBron's first year? LeBron was on the team; they were 4th in the West. They were looking good. LeBron goes out; they missed the playoffs, right? So theoretically, you see, they took LeBron out the team. The team was a lottery team, right? So that means that he's the most valuable player in the league. He's a very valuable player for the team. So it's kind of interesting, but they don't really look at it that way. Like I almost think the award should be changed from most valuable player to just best player on the best team or one of the best teams. Because that's kind of how it gets looked at, at least by the people who vote on it.
Yeah, but another thing that's true though is people love to hate on the Lakers, LeBron. So anything that the Lakers or LeBron do, they won't give it to him.
I got that on my list. We'll talk about it.
But all right, man. So I'm real excited to jump into this here, you guys' top 5. So let's go ahead and start with number 5, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick things off with my number 5, and I got the Slim Reaper, man. I got KD, Ooh, man. I got a K, and that's crazy, right? Because number 5, we're talking about KD. So check this out. The reason why I have him number 5 is because right now he's putting up 30 points per game, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 87% from the free throw line, 52% from the field, a career high 44% from 3. But one thing that I want to highlight is how crazy this MVP race is. So KD's MVP season 2013-2014, he averaged 32 points, same amount of rebounds as he is right now, same amount of assists, on the same free throw percentage, less on shooting 50% from the field, and way less from the three, shooting 39% from the three. And now it's his MVP season. And we have him in number 5, y'all. Like, that is mind blowing to me. Like that is crazy. And so I definitely think MVP KD's having a great year. And if we wanted to include narratives and talk about narratives, this might be one of the greatest comebacks from an Achilles injury. Like, he is still one of the most purest and unstoppable scorers in the league coming back from that injury. The Nets right now are 3-3 without him. He's missed 6 games. So I mean, I guess you could say that he's very impactful or neutral. But one thing that I did want to add in there is I don't think that KD will get MVP, which is why I have him top 5 because of James Harden and Kyrie. Because like them being on the team, whatever each of them do can so easily get overlooked because whatever you do, James Harden probably just did too, or Kyrie just did too the other night. So that's why I have KD in the 5th spot, man. Who you guys got in the 5th spot? Talk to me.
Man, so for my 5th, it was tough too, but I actually had to go with not the slim guy, but the quiet guy, the fun guy, Mr. Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
So it was really like you said, man, it was real tough to narrow down this top 5. Honestly, like whoever we got in the top 5, I mean, at least in my top 5. We'll see if John's not gonna forget anybody, but at least in my top 5, I think any one of these people could win the MVP title today. But splitting hairs, I went with Kawhi at 5. 26 points a game, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. Out of the top 5, he's got the best free throw percentage at 92%. He's shooting 51% from the field and 41% from 3. All right, so it's like, how do you not win the MVP with these numbers? His team is, I mean, the West standings are changing like every day, like because then the Lakers win, then the Jazz win, and the Clippers win. So, but he's got his team at the top of the West, if not at number 1 and number 2 or 3. It just depends when you're listening, to be honest. But let's see if I have to just, I mean, again, being nitpicky, splitting hairs, right? Is he picks and chooses what games he plays, right? So it's a lot easier to give 110% effort when you're rested all the time, right? You don't have any fatigue because you played out of the last 10 games, you played 7 of them. So I think that if, again, I have to come up with something negative to put him in 5th, right? Otherwise, he would be number 1. So that's what I came up with. But again, just a very small nitpicky thing. But honestly, man, like the Clippers, they did not scare me as a Lakers fan last year. They did not. I was like, no, they're frauds. They're not going to do anything last year. And I was right. They flunked out of the second round. This year, though, I got to start giving them attention. Like they have 2 players playing at an MVP level. Honestly, like when in the offseason, I actually thought they were going to be worse this season than they were last year. So I was like, oh, this is even better, right? But they actually look better than they did last year. So it's honestly like I'm not going to go as far as saying they're a better team than the Lakers because I 100% don't think they are, but that they're serious, 110%. They're a serious team this year, and we got to take them seriously. Not just as Lakers fans, but we got to take them seriously as just NBA fans watching the league. Like that's a team you can't just be messing around with. Like they're serious. So Kawhi at 5. That's what I got. What about you, Faraz?
Hey, you hit on the spot, man. At number 5, I got the fun guy, of course. I got the Matrix, man, Kawhi Leonard, man. You know what you're getting out of him every night. Consistent, man. He'll give you 26, 5 and 5, as you said, and it will be there every night. But I have to disagree with you on one thing. I know last year he did have a narrative of sitting out a couple games and here and there, a lot of locker room issues. But I feel like this year he really stepped up. He heard all the noise, and he said, you know what, I'm going to be that guy. On a back-to-back, I'm going to play the back-to-back because you know what, I'm going to need to be a leader for my team. That's exactly what he did. And also another key aspect is Paul George, man. He's been a great running mate for Kawhi Leonard. I feel like that's why Clippers have been so scary, as you said. And this year, as a Lakers fan, absolutely, I am scared of the Clippers because they're doing some work.
Not scared. Let's
I'm not gonna lie.
Serious. They're just not alive. Last year.
Hey, this team, they made some moves. They were quiet moves for sure. Serge Ibaka was a great pickup for them, and I just feel like this team is a lot more catered to Kawhi Leonard, and this is the team that he likes to play with. Hardworking, gets after on the defensive end, and he's making his case for the MVP by having a nice little team that surrounds him.
Yeah. But it's ironic, man, because I genuinely, I know that most people are probably going to call me biased, but like I would rather have Montrezl Harrell than Ibaka. But Lou Williams is actually playing much worse. So it's like the overall team actually fell, like became worse. But just Kawhi and PG stepped up so much that it's offsetting all those losses, especially PG. But again, we'll have to see how he plays in the playoffs because regular season PG, yeah, we've seen this noise. We've seen the story 100 times, right? What, 2 years ago wasn't he like he was top 3 in MVP voting 2 years ago?
Absolutely.
It was when Giannis won and then Dame came second and PG came third, or actually PG might have even come second that year. It was great, but then what happens in the playoff? You know what I mean? He fell apart again. So we'll have to see if they could do it in the playoffs. That's when it matters. You know?
Most definitely.
Talking about doing it in the playoffs, you know, I was actually having a conversation with a friend earlier, and I was talking about the MVP should be decided after the playoffs. Like, I don't know why it's decided after the season. Like, what you do in the playoffs should definitely matter. Like, we've seen what happened with Giannis last season. Like, if you would have gave the MVP after the playoffs, there's no way LeBron wouldn't have got it. If he wouldn't have got it, we would have known that the NBA is officially rigged against LeBron and the Lakers.
Which it kind of is, but that's a different point.
I think the only reason that they have the MVP for regular season, I think it just takes away from the value of the finals MVP if they did the MVP after the season. Because they'd be like, oh, he's the best player in the finals, but basically if you win finals MVP now, that means you're the best player in the league. Like, you got all the way to the ship and you made it through the playoffs. You were the best player throughout the playoffs and you did your thing. But I agree. I think the MVP should definitely be after the season, man.
Like holistic. Like, you should include playoffs as well. And last season, they didn't even include the bubble. Like, it just was like, oh, you basically how you played until like March. And it was like, that's it. That's your MVP.
I think if they keep the MVP how it is, I feel like they should have a first and second team for the playoffs instead of just regular season. So regular season, they should have a first, second, and third team for regular season as well as for playoffs. Because people in playoffs, that's where stars are made. Let's be real. Jamal Murray had a great breakout season in the bubble, and so did Donovan Mitchell. And I feel like they should have had some sort of first team, second team recognition for playing so well in the playoffs. You feel me?
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree. And you know, Adam Silver is actually a stern listener of this podcast, so I'm sure he'll take it.
Definitely. All right. So since we're on the topic of Kawhi Leonard, let me just move on to my fourth player. That's where I got the fun guy, man. I got Kawhi. You guys both just hit it on the nail, man. 26, 5 and 5, a career high actually in assists this season, and he is currently right now in the 50-40-90 club, which is very, very impressive. And one thing that I did want to point out is that, you know, last year something that everyone knew that the Clippers lacked was a true playmaking guard, and Kawhi had really took on that role this season, which is why he is averaging a career high in assists. And one thing that I gotta give some you know, my hat off to Kawhi is that he's doing that, and he's actually averaging the least amount of turnovers in everyone in this entire list. And so I definitely gotta pay my respects to Kawhi for that. And if you watch a Clippers game, you rarely see Kawhi play watching. Every single play, he's heavily involved. Whether the play is going to him and he's getting the ball, or that he's setting the down screen or whatever it is, Kawhi is just insanely involved in the Clippers offense, which is very, very important for an MVP player. And like I mentioned earlier, like in impactfulness on your team, right? Kawhi Leonard is extremely impactful on the Clippers. On the offensive end, he leads them in scoring, leads them in field goal percentage. On the defensive end, everybody knows how great of a defender Kawhi is. Every single year, he's always guarding the other team's best player. He's leading the Clippers right now in steals. And this last game that they just had against the Nets, he put up 33, 5 and 5, and I'm not gonna say stopped, but contained KD to a cool 25. You know what I'm saying? And if you can contain KD to anything under 30, you did a good job. You did a good job. And right now, the man is averaging 30. So Kawhi definitely, you know, is stepping up and very impactful on that team. And the reason why I have Kawhi Leonard over Kevin Durant is solely because Kawhi Leonard's missed less games than Kevin Durant this season. And I believe that Kawhi Leonard is more impactful to his team than Kevin Durant is to his team. I'm not saying Kawhi Leonard's a better player than Kevin Durant, but if you take Kawhi out of that Clippers, like they might be a 7-8 seed. You take KD out that Nets team, they're still a top 3 seed. And so that's why I would say that I have Kawhi Leonard above Kevin Durant. But talk to me, who do you guys have for number 4?
Number 4, I got Kevin Durant. So that's talking about players that came off a lot of rest. It's KD. So again, gotta choose a knock as to why I'm going to put him in 4th place. He didn't play a game for 552 days. Yeah, like that is the longest rest ever. I mean, yeah, he was recovering, but resting nonetheless. It's 1.5 calendar years. So you have to look at both sides. One side, he's coming off an injury. Other side, he rested for 1.5 years, 1.5 calendar years. That's insane, right? So he had plenty of time to recover. Let's remember here, LeBron missed the playoffs his first year in LA only because of injury, and he was actually injured during the regular season. No one cut him any slack. So the least we could do is be consistent here, right? So we're not going to cut any slack for Kevin Durant. Okay? So that being said, he's balling out of his mind. 552 days of rest or not. 31.7 rebounds, 6 assists, 52 from the field, and 44 from the three. He's making big shots. He's looking like vintage KD. Nets are second in the East right now. At the time of writing, they were second in the East. I don't know if they still are because things change. But he's the main reason they're there. He's their best player. Better than James Harden. Better than Kyrie, obviously. What is a small knock on him? It's the same thing I have with Kawhi. He kind of is picking and choosing what games he plays and what games he rests, right? After coming off 552 days of rest, it's like, man, just play the games. You know what I mean? So, like, and remember, he could have played in the bubble, but he chose not to. So you got to keep that in mind. He chose not to play in the bubble. And I'm thinking, like, man, just don't you want to go out there and hoop? Like, he had a serious shot at being, like, definitely a top 10 scorer if he's not already, because he's just such a scoring machine, right? So I have to also – one thing I also got to knock on him a little bit is a little bit of tax because he gets to play with Harden and Irvin. So you could look at it in two ways, right? Either it's incredible that he's putting up 31 points with two other ball-dominant players, or no wonder he's putting up 31 points when he's got this sort of offensive firepower to play with, right? Like, you got somebody double Harden, somebody's going to be free, and double Kyrie, somebody's going to be free, right? So I try to look at it both sides. But no matter how you cut it, KD's having an MVP-level season, and that's no doubt. Like you said, John, I mean, he's the value he brings to his team is crazy. He's the biggest reason the Nets are where they are, and he's the biggest reason they're the threat that they are. He's putting up numbers equal to or better than what he did in his MVP season. So for that, he's a very, very valuable candidate to be MVP, and he's stepped up big time. Every time he's played, he stepped up big time. Like, I don't think I've seen him have a bad game this season. So it's like, got to take everything into account. Crazy to have him at 4. He probably could be number 1, but I got to roll with him at 4 just because it only gets better from here at the list. So that's who I got.
Hey, man, you hit it right out the park, man. You took the words right out of my mouth.
We got the same one again?
KD at number 4. The only reason I put him at number 4 instead of number 5 is strictly because of narrative. I think his narrative is a little bit better than Kawhi's at this point. You know, coming off a season-ending Achilles injury, maybe even career-ending, you know, you may never know. But it was a very serious injury. He's coming back. And as you say, he's putting up his, I think, equal to his MVP season, if not better, which is absolutely ridiculous. But you did hit it on the spot where you said he had almost a year and a half of rest. So obviously he's had a lot of time to get back into work. But it's still rare to see guys just come back and look like they haven't even missed a step, man. He's smooth, man. Like, he's hitting the shots that I honestly haven't even seen him hit before, man. Like, it's crazy. And honestly, I think Kevin Durant's a very underrated defender. He's averaging a block and a half this season, and he's usually guarding the best player on their team because, let's be real, the Net, that's probably their best defender. That's the Nets' best defender.
And there's a big drop-off after that.
Huge drop-off after that. I think that's going to be their Achilles heel as ironic as it is, I think that's going to be their Achilles heel this season. I think the defense will be the death of them, if I'm being honest. But KD at number 4 for sure, strictly because of narrative. And his numbers are amazing, man. He's just so smooth out there.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Oh, that's
definitely.
It.
All right. So now we get into shaky territory, y'all. We get into the top 3, man. So I'm excited to get into this, man. So let me kick off my number 3. I gotta go with the Serbian. I gotta go Nikola Jokic, man. Number 3, bro. Number 3, because number 2 and 1 are ridiculous. But let me talk to you why, man. So Jokic right now is having a career high year, career high in points per game with 26 points per game, career high in assists with 9 assists per game, career high in steals with 2 assists with 2 steals per game, career high in rebounds with 11 rebounds per game and 4 offensive rebounds per game. That is the amount of extra possessions that is per game is ridiculous. 83% from the free throw line, 57% from the field. 38% from deep. But let me tell you the stat that I read that is just insanely mind-boggling, y'all. So when Jokic is on the court, the Nuggets have the number 1 offense. When he's off the court, they have the number 30 offense. So that drop off is literally from 1 to the entire league. That's the entire.
How is this man high 3?
Because of 2 and 1. That's but so that right there is the definition of impact, y'all. He is single-handedly carrying the Nuggets to the 5th seed right now. Jamal Murray is not really playing up to what he did in the bubble. Other players just kind of refuse to shoot the ball. To be honest, it looks like Jokic is really having to do it all. In the month of December and January, Jokic was top 5 in every category: first in PER, second in points, third in assists, third in steals, fourth in rebounds. Just the man was just doing it all. And another player, just like Kawhi Leonard, you never catch Jokic play watching, man. Jokic is involved in literally every single play that the Nuggets run. Whether he's bringing the ball up court, whether the ball is going to the post and he's throwing a back cut out of the post, whatever he's doing, man, Jokic is involved. That's again a very important part of being the MVP. It's insanely smart. I know you guys watched that Lakers Nuggets game last night. Just some of the passes he makes, just like. Even watching TV, you don't even see that player there. You know what I'm saying? So Jokic is a very smart player, knows when to pass out the post. And the reason why I do have Jokic over Kawhi Leonard is because right now Jokic is literally having a career high in every single category. Like there's not one category that Jokic isn't putting up a career high in. So that's just like, man, that's mind-boggling. And that impact, y'all. Like I can't get over that. Number 1 offense to number 30 offense. Like that's crazy. So that's why I got Jokic my number 3. But Junior, you definitely don't feel that. So talk to me why you don't feel like that.
I don't, man. I got somebody who is also an international player, but it's not Nikola Jokic. I got to go with Joel Embiid at number 3. Because look, and it's not a knock on Joel, man. It's not. Oh my God! It's not a knock on Joel, but the other 2 are just so insane.
Oh my God!
It's not a knock on Joel.
Oh man!
All right, I'm gonna have to go. I don't know if your reaction is he's not even in the top 5 or he should be high. I'm a little worried. So, but I'm gonna tell you why I got him at number 3. All right, so. Another player who less than the first 2, but kind of also is picking and choosing what games he plays, and it's kind of pissing me off because he's balling, and I want to see him play every time he can get at the opportunity to play. But he's been having a monstrous season: 28 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a block, and 40% from 3 for a big man.
Oh my God!
Steph Curry shoots 41% from 3 this season. Joel Embiid is shooting 40%. He's shooting 54% from the field, all right? He's got his team atop the Eastern Conference where most people didn't think they would be there because, when you think Eastern Conference, you think Nets, you think Bucks, then maybe you think Philly, right? Or right now it's Philly, right? And even though it took a Tobias Harris buzzer beater to beat the Lakers, they did hand the Lakers their first road loss, so that was impressive. All in all, a very impressive season from Embiid. But one stat that actually blew me away, and this was a little bit of a knock on him. Again, remember, I'm being nitpicky. So if I was nitpicky with Kawhi at 5th, I have to be really nitpicky with Embiid in 3rd. So, this is a very minor thing, but it actually blew me away. He gets to the free throw line 11 times.
Leads
11 times. That's actually, that's insane. He's knocking down 84% of those, which means that virtually 10 points a game is guaranteed, based on how many calls he gets. Now, I don't watch every Sixers game, so I cannot tell you if he's earning those calls or if he's getting the superstar treatment, right? He works in the post. He's a big man. So I would imagine that he's probably earning those calls because he's got to do dirty work in the post. But 11 times to the free throw, that's all, like I said, almost 10 points a game guaranteed just by stepping on the court. And that's almost 2 times as much as the other star players who are putting up similar numbers, but with less opportunities to go to the free throw line. And another person that not going to be a big surprise, but another big gets to the free throw line way less than he does and is putting up just as many points. So we'll get to that. But Embiid, incredible season. Dark horse. If you would have told me Embiid would have been in my top 5 for MVP last season, I would not have been like, no way. So he's just boom. He's exploded. He's always been good, but he's just exploded this season. So he's been great, but just not enough to be higher than 3 on my list, because y'all got to see the rest of my list. Y'all got to see the rest of my list before you start knocking it. See the rest of it. But I want to know who you got at 3 for us, because I know you also had a reaction when I said Embiid. So let me hear it.
At number 3, I got my favorite center in the whole NBA, man. Nikola Jokic, man.
Woo! There we go.
I love Jokic's game, man. He is the definition of a European player, where this man, I think my most favorite quote from him was, he's all like, scoring makes 1 person happy. Passing makes 2 people happy, bro. I love Jokic, man. This man will look for anyone and everyone before he scores. But the reason I have him at number 3 and not a little higher on my list is specifically because of his team's record right now. He's definitely done a great job leading this team. As John said, he went off when he goes off the court. He's third. They're 30 in the league on offense.
Offense, yeah.
Sheesh, man, that's ridiculous. But unfortunately, they're still 4th in the West right now. I'm not sure if they dropped a little bit after last night's loss against the Lakers. But for him to be a little higher up in there, I would expect him to be at least top 2. But that's why I have him at 3 right now. But he is my favorite player, so I was trying to push him up a little higher, but I can't just yet. Not yet.
I feel you, man. I feel you exactly, man. So, all right. Definitely. All right, y'all. So let's get into this top 2, man. This is where the fans is here for. They're here to listen. So let me go ahead and kick off my number 2, man. So I got Joel Embiid, y'all. Junior mentioned a lot of it, man, like 28 points per game, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.3 steals, 1.4 blocks. One thing that I do want to add is Junior, like we talk about this all the time on like off camera, how many shots he alters. Like, and there isn't a stat that they have for this, but he bothers so many shooters just by being that big guy. He just walls off, puts his hands up. Like how Junior mentioned, 11 free throws per game, leading the league in free throw attempts. 55% from the field. And a number that I want to bring up is ridiculous is when he's in the paint, he's shooting 80% when he just gets in the paint with the ball. That's ridiculous. In the month of January, look, check this out. 45-16 against the Heat, 42-10 against the Celtics, again against the Celtics, 38-11, 33-14 against the Pistons, 28 against the Lakers, 37-11 against the Wolves. Just a double-double machine, like guaranteed.
Ooh, y'all. I gotta go.
Guaranteed. And when Jokic is, I'm not Jokic. When Joel Embiid is on the court, they're the number 2 ranked defense. When he's off the court, they're number 10 ranked defense. Right now, at the time of writing, they had the best league record, but the Jazz passed them up. So they have the second best league record, the first in the East. And we want to talk about impact. The Sixers are 0-5 when Joel Embiid doesn't play. He's right at the time of writing, he had missed 5 games, and they're 0-5. Then they haven't won 1 game without Joel on the court. And another player that, like, when you watch Joel Embiid, you never catch him play watching. Every single play, he is so involved. He's at, whether setting an on-ball screen, a down screen, whatever he's doing. Right now, he leads the league in post points. He leads the league in paint touches. So that proves that wherever he wants to move, he's going to get there, and nobody can do nothing about it. He draws so many mismatches because he's too big and too fast, can shoot. And you know, I don't want to get too ahead of myself here because I know we got 2 faithful Laker fans here, but he's looking like a mini AD out there. I'm not going to lie to you, like a solid AD.
Is he taller than AD?
but
maybe taller version.
But he's not better than AD.
He's the OG AD.
Hey, but this season, my boy AD needs some work.
But bro, so I got him looking like a little like mini taller version of AD because he out there taking step backs, out there taking it to the hoop, and like how Junior mentioned, like he doesn't know if he's getting a lot of superstar calls. Junior, I'll tell you, he's getting some superstar calls, but he's really getting some real calls. He's just getting to the line, he's just getting to the post, putting his body in there. He has great feet work, man. Great feet work. Gets in there, hooks a player's arm, gets in there. And the reason why I have him, to answer your question, Junior, because I know you probably itching to know why I got him over Jokic, is because
I need to know.
Is because the Sixers are actually winning. Like the Sixers are actually winning. The Sixers are first place in the East at 16-7, and the Nuggets are fifth in the West at 12-9. And I had to bring up the records because I knew your argument was probably going to be like, but that's the West and the East. But
that's 12 in the East.
but 12-9. I even got this right now right here because I knew you would say that. But 12-9 in the Eastern Conference is the fourth seed, and the Sixers are 16-7 in the first seed in the East, man. So that is exactly why I had to go with Joel Embiid, man. He's having a monster here, dude. Like one of my favorite players to watch right now, honestly. But go ahead, y'all talk to me.
Embiid's been nice, but I will say this. I think Nikola Jokic would benefit a lot from having most games against Eastern opponents. Like, that's just one thing I'm going to say. And so I'm going to tell you who I got in second. This was actually, so the top 5 was tough to pick, all right? But in the history of Clutch Talk, I have never had a more split decision than picking between number 1 and number 2 in this list. I am not kidding. I went more than the Raptors and the Hawks. Remember when we were doing the Eastern playoff seeding? And I was like Raptors, Hawks, Raptor, Hawks. This is actually crazy because I went back and forth. So I put this guy in first. Initially, when I did this, I put this guy that's currently in second. I put him in first. Then I switched him. Then I put him back. Then I switched him again. It's been going crazy. But number 2, I had to go with Nikola Jokic.
Okay, if you went with Go James,
I know, but listen,
I would have kicked you. I would have just kicked you from the chat.
No, go ahead. No, I get you. I agree. I got to go with Go James. It's no surprise anymore. Who's my number 1? But it was close, man. Like, I went with Jokic first. Let me tell you about this man, Nikola Jokic. So first, I remember when we did the best players under 25. I know you remember that episode, right? So for us, just a quick little history here. We did top 25, and John didn't think Jokic was one of the best players under 25.
No. Let me tell you what happened. Let me clear the record for the fans. Let me clear the record. So we did an episode that was top 10 under 25, right? And I don't even know what happened. Like, as I was making my list, I was just making all these players, and I just forgot Jokic. Jokic just totally slipped my mind. But and then they had called me out on it. They were like, "You don't have Jokic," and then I had to play on it. So I was like, "What? I don't got Jokic." I was like, "I don't got Jokic." He just got exposed by Dwight Howard last season, but nah, dog. I got. You
had to just take the L last episode. You had to just take the L and keep going.
Hey, he had to rock with it, man. He already messed up. He had to go. He had to take it.
I had to keep going.
He said, "Nah, Jokic is weak." No. All right, but anyway, when we're doing that episode, we went career-wise, right? And I obviously Luka was the number 1 player career-wise. But then I actually said this. I said, if we would have based off the season alone, I would have Jokic first. And I remember I got some weird looks when I said that. But I stand by that. That's why I got Jokic as my number 2. But he could arguably be number 1. It's crazy. It's splitting hairs, right? So it was tough picking. Just one. But like I said, anyone in this list can win it. But I think when you look at it holistically, Jokic is one of the most valuable players in this league. Like, he's number 2, number 1, like super, super, super close. I will present my points for number 1 when we get there. But let's look at Jokic, okay? So he had a very short offseason because he got to the conference finals, right? He just literally the Lakers and the Heat had a longer offseason. Aside from that, Jokic had a very short offseason, okay? He's played every single game for the Nuggets, which is a standout for me. Remember, my knocks on Embiid, Kawhi, and KD were that they were picking and choosing what games they were playing, right? And the best type of ability is availability. Exactly, right? So he's there. He's playing. But if that didn't stand out enough that he's played every game, he's averaging 27 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists with 2 steals and a block a game, right? So he's almost averaging a triple-double. But he's actually, listen to this, he's actually gotten a double-double every single game this season. There has been a game this season that he has gotten a double-double. That is insane. So that's why I said when John said, "Oh, he's a double-double machine," we talk about Embiid. I said, "Let me tell you about a double-double machine." Because I mean, he actually hasn't had a game where he hasn't gotten at least a double-double, right? And like I when I talked about Embiid's point about how he goes to the free throw line 11.3 times a game, right? I said there's another notable big who gets to the free throw line half the time that he does, and that's Jokic. He gets to the line 5.8 times per game, 5.8 free throws attempts per game. Right? So that's half of that, and he still sinks about 84%, just like Jokic. But he's at 27 points a game, whereas Jokic is at 28. Right, so he's averaging like one and it's. If you want to look at the decimals, it's 1.5 less points a game with half of the free throw attempts. So it means he's getting more done in the field, right? 38% from three. Remember, Embiid's 40% was insane. 38% is crazy for a big man too. 57% of the field, which is great for any man, big man, small man, anybody, right? He's got the Nuggets fourth in the West, but they've had a couple of games postponed. You see the records, they've actually played less games. So he hasn't gotten to play as many games just yet. So we're going to see how they're going to shape up at the end of the season. And while Murray is nice, he's not an MVP level player. So Jokic is doing this without another MVP co-star, right? KD's got an MVP co-star. Paul George's got an MVP co-star. LeBron's got an MVP co-star. Embiid doesn't have an MVP co-star, but they got a solid team. Simmons, Harris, Seth Curry, like they got a solid. Like if you're just looking at rosters, you take out Embiid, you take out Jokic, Philadelphia's got a better roster. So Jokic is doing more. I don't know. I think they're more rounded out. Like I get it. Like you got Embiid and Simmons, Jokic and Murray. But then the next player is probably going to be Michael Porter Jr. And I don't think anybody in Philadelphia is going to Michael Porter Jr. But Tobias Harris is nice. Seth Curry is nice. So I think like it's close, but I would give the edge to Philadelphia. So I think Jokic is doing. He's doing it with a lesser team. Okay. And
So
I mean, go ahead.
Question for you: If Jokic and Embiid's already been picked up, your next two choices are you're about to go play. Your next two choices are Jamal Murray and Ben Simmons. Who are you taking?
Depends how my team's looking though. So
I'm just asking.
If we're just playing,
we're just talking about pick up basketball.
Just pick up.
You need buckets.
Jamal Murray. But if I can surround him with shooters, I'd like to have a 6'10" point guard who is a fantastic defender, who leads the league in steals, and who is a block presence and who's a great facilitator, right? We're forgetting it. Simmons is averaging a double-double. He's not putting up as many points as Jamal Murray, but he's averaging a double-double. So if I can surround him with shooters, ergo Seth Curry, he's got Danny Green when he decides to shoot, right? If you can put shooters around him, then you got a good team. So I think Philadelphia is a better team than the Nuggets.
If you run a half-court set offense, Joel Embiid is useless. Can't do anything. Sorry, not Joel Embiid. Sorry, not Joel Embiid. Ben Simmons. My fault. Got them messed up. Yeah. Well, if you run a half-court set, if you run a half-court set offense, Ben Simmons, he can't shoot. So you just come down. You give him that. You like how LeBron guards him. You just come down to the post and you double up the other big man, and then. Like, what's he gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And
I get it. I know he's got his limitations, but but you remember this is what I said last time when I talked about Ben Simmons too. What he lacks on offense, like look, shooting is the only aspect. He's good at driving. He's good at facilitating, right? He's great at defense, so he does make up for that on defense, right? I get it. It's a shooters league, and you really got to shoot to be good. I get it, but when you have other facets of your game to be able to make up for that, and I think that's what he has in his defense. So I get it. It's definitely a liability having Ben Simmons out at certain times. I agree with it 100%. But back to kind of looking at Jokic and Embiid, I think Jokic is having a more impressive season than Embiid. It's close because I almost had him number one. I had him number one initially, but we're gonna get to number one. And I was running the list. I was like, nah. This man's gonna.
I think we all have the same number one.
I hope we all have the same number one.
I think we do. So let me hear your number two for us.
I gotta rock with Joel Embiid, man. I know you bring up some good points, but just looking at Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic, man, like I say, I can't fault Embiid for the GM putting a better team around Embiid. They know Embiid's their guy, and they put pieces around him to make sure they can maximize all his skill sets. And that's exactly what he's shown this season. They got a new GM, they got a new coach, and I love what Doc has done with the team. I love what Daryl Morey has done with the team, man. Bringing the shooters, knowing Ben Simmons can't shoot, bringing Steph Curry, man, great pickup. And he spaced out the floor for Embiid, and now Embiid could go to work. And let me tell y'all something, man. The past 10 games, my boy Embiid is averaging 36, 10, and a block and a steal a game. On 59% field goal percentage and 47 from 3-point, man. That's the last 10 games. And that's just the past 10 games. This man, Jokic has been playing well, but this man Embiid has been dominating this season. Absolutely just dominating, man. I just love everything that the 76ers have been doing with their team, man. I love how Tobias has stepped up to a plate, been a key role. Ben Simmons, he was a little wary last season, but he found his role. He found his niche, man. And I really like the 76ers team. I honestly have them going to the finals this year. I'm just going to put it out there.
Oh my God!
Okay.
I'm putting out that
Okay.
statement right there, man. I'm gonna rock with the 76ers to the finals.
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and clip that right there. I'm gonna save that clip, and we gonna see what's gonna happen in the finals.
All right, man. Say less, but you guys can clip that right here. You guys heard it here first. 76ers, and it's gonna be an NBA Finals this year.
All right, hey, Junior, Faraz just put it on wax over here in the Clutch Talk
Put it on
studios.
wax!
Man. He just put it on wax, man. He got the 76ers going to the finals, man. I like that. I mean, I don't really disagree with you too much because I mean, if you play the Nets, do you think the Nets are going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals?
I think that, as I said, man, their defense. I just need to see something from the defense. The Toronto Raptors are, I think, 10th in the East, but Toronto's always been a great defensive team, and they were able to limit the Nets and beat them today, actually. And I just feel like if the Nets don't get their defense together and they don't get that big man, it's gonna be problems for them in the playoffs.
Definitely. Yeah. I was about to say, because if the Nets play Joel Embiid and the Sixers, Joel Embiid might go for 100 each game. He might go for 100.
The 76ers are bigger too. You got Ben Simmons at 6'10". Who's guarding him? Kyrie, James.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You got Tobias Harris at the 2/3. Like, they're too big. You can't guard it, man.
Man,
and they got that all defensive team with James Harden and Kyrie Irving. It's like anybody.
Faraz, I also like that point you bring up about bringing Doc Rivers onto the 76ers. I think that unlocked a piece in Joel Embiid and that whole 76ers team. That's just like that's just ridiculous. You know, I was listening to this podcast yesterday and Matt Barnes was talking about. He said that Doc Rivers makes you feel like you could run through a wall. Like, he just has you believing you could run through a wall and just do everything. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, and it really shows that maybe Brett Brown was what's holding back the 76ers all these other years, man. So
I personally think so. Like, Doc Rivers unlocked the key to Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris was I think he was making like 140 last year, 140 million. He was on a 5-year contract. He was averaging like 9 points a game. This year, he's averaging around 15, man. He's been great for the team. Hit, obviously, a clutch shot against my Lakers, man. It's tough to see, but he's been playing well, man. I love Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris is nice.
He's good, man.
All right.
Tobias Harris for All-Star, by the way. He needs to make the All-Star team this year for sure.
We'll go ahead and put that vote in. All right, so all right, man. So for the number one, the one everybody been wanting to hear, man. I think we all got the same number one. So I'm gonna go ahead and just say my number one. I got GOAT James, man. The GOAT, man, like the GOAT of all time, y'all. I got 20. The man's averaging 24 points per game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 49% from the field, 70% from the free throw line, a career high from the 3 at 41%, taking 7 threes per game, which is the most he's ever taken. The Lakers have the number 1 ranked defense. Again, I know that has a lot to do with AD, but what most people don't really realize is that players who LeBron guard right now, they're shooting an average of 30% from the field. And we want to talk about impact. LeBron is the most impactful player on that Lakers team. The Lakers absolutely need LeBron for both offense and defense, especially offense. Like, LeBron pushes the ball up court, man. He pushes up the tempo. He hits the shooters. He initiates the half court offense. And on defense, how many times have we seen LeBron step up and take whoever and guard whoever's the players that's hitting. Last season in the playoffs, remember when Dame was just going off, and in the fourth quarter, LeBron came, shut all that down, sat in that. So LeBron often, steps up on defense. And I mean, if we want to talk about the equation, right? Like, let's look at this MVP as if it was like a math problem. What is it? The best player plus best team equals MVP. I know the Lakers aren't in first right now in the West, but I would gladly still and very confidently say that the Lakers are still the best team in the entire league. And absolutely. LeBron is definitely the best player on the Lakers. So, absolutely. I mean, you could make an argument for AD. I don't know about right now, but
definitely not right now.
Definitely not right now, man.
But so
and AD's my guy, and it hurts to say that, but man, his last few games has just been a little off.
So we're talking about best player plus best team equals MVP. That has to equal MVP, man. And another point I want to bring up, if we're gonna talk about narratives, man, we're talking about a 36-year-old, y'all, who just came off the shortest offseason ever, yet to miss a game. Like, what, y'all? Like, this is ridiculous. And another narrative. The man should have won MVP last season. The man should have won the MVP the season before that. The man should have won the MVP season before that. He, like, 4 years back, he should have won it, y'all. And another thing I want to bring up is, that 46-point game against the Cavs. I know a lot of people keep talking about that, but one thing that I saw when I was really watching that game is LeBron controls the game. Like, whenever he wants to do whatever he wants at whatever time, he'll turn it up. We saw what happened in that fourth quarter. He went for like 16 points in the fourth quarter, like something ridiculous. So like that just shows that LeBron has full control of the game. Like if LeBron's getting clamped up, I seen this Gilbert Arenas talking about on his podcast. He said that if LeBron's not playing well, it's because he's fooling you into not playing well. It's just because he's getting his teammates involved. It's not that he's actually not. Nobody's actually going to clamp LeBron up. So man, I had to go with GOAT James at number one. And the reason I got him over Joel Embiid is because we have never seen this greatness for this long amount of time, man. So y'all go ahead and talk to me why y'all got LeBron.
Man, year 18, age 36, still the best basketball player on the face of planet Earth. Like, that's crazy.
Man.
That's just incredible. Like, I'm honestly so happy this guy plays for my team because I can see his face night in and night out. Because, man, like for those of you who hate LeBron, honestly, like just take a step back and realize that in a couple of years he probably won't be in the league anymore, and you won't be able to watch this play on a nightly basis.
Man,
that's crazy. Like I'm Team Kobe all the way. Anybody who's known me knows I'm Team Kobe all the way and always will be. And I know there used to be this whole thing like, oh, you can't like LeBron and Kobe. You gotta like one or the other, like Ronaldo or Messi. Like that's just BS, man. Like they're both great. Both are getting to be appreciated. Like it's just crazy, and we're so fortunate to have both of them like play for our franchise. You know what I mean? Honestly, actually, it's funny if you look at like the top. In my opinion, we're gonna go on a little tangent, but top 5 players of all time, no order: LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, Magic, Kareem. 4 of those 5 players are Lakers. Like, man, God bless them. God bless the Lakers. Like, but anyway, back to LeBron. Man's 36 years old. All right. He actually it's his 18th season, but he actually has about 21 years of NBA basketball on his body due to his playoff career. Okay. 21 years of NBA basketball. He just came off the shortest offseason, not in the history of the NBA, in the history of professional sports. Okay. And I talked about a short offseason for Jokic, but this is the shortest offseason ever. Right? Technically shorter than the Heat because they had a day less, right? But this is the shortest offseason ever. And I always say this. Best type of ability is availability. This man's played every game, right? Like John just said that. This man's played every game. Like, and unlike Kawhi and Embiid, LeBron's actually earned the right to sit out a couple of games, especially due to his age, due to the record short off season. Yet he still hasn't missed a game. Like, if he sat out, it actually wouldn't be that bad because he's 36. He's got 21 years of miles on his body. He had the shortest off season in the history. But he's playing every game. I mean, this guy just keeps on giving, right? And we need to talk about how this guy transitioned his game from just a slasher coming in every time to a sharpshooter. Like, it's crazy. He's shooting 41% from the field, 41% from 3, and 49% of the field. Like, if you want to know for reference, the exact number is 40.9. Okay, this season, Steph Curry shooting 40.8, right? So a little less, but virtually the same thing. But that's what I'm trying to tell you, right? Like, he is shooting actually more than Stephen Curry, who's the greatest shooter of all time. right? So like, how crazy is that? Like when back in like 2007 and 2010, I actually used to say like, man, LeBron's game won't last that long because he doesn't know how to shoot. He just drives. He's not going to be able to be like 33, 34 years old and driving and not being able to shoot because then what's going to happen to his body, right? But like he understood that and he adapted his game, right? Like now he's a sharpshooter, man. He's shooting higher than Steph Curry this season. That's crazy, right? So it seems like when he gets older and you think he's going to slow down, he just finds something new to add to his arsenal. Like it's crazy, man. And I mean, he's got the Lakers sitting. I think they're second in the West now, but it could be third. I'm not sure because, like I said, everything kind of it fluctuates because of games playing. Like the Clippers are playing right now, right? So I think if the Clippers lose, then the Lakers get second. So it's all sorts of stuff. Like it switches. But anyway, got him top of the West, like near the top, right? And when you look at it holistically, he's the most valuable player in the NBA. It's extremely close with Jokic. Like I said, we got some great competition for the remainder of the season. I think he should have won it last year, which we kind of said. There's a couple of MVPs he deserved that he didn't get. But to be honest with you, and this is the sad truth, I don't think he'll win it. I don't think he's going to win it because we know the media and the NBA hates the Lakers. They hate the Lakers. So they're not going to give it to him. But damn it, he deserves it. He deserves it. Like, if Jokic wins, look, I wouldn't even be mad. Like, Jokic is doing his thing. He deserves it, man. He really does. But like, I just think LeBron deserves it more. But the reality is the media just hates the Lakers, and unfortunately, it's the media who votes for them. It's garbage. It's an outdated system that needs to be changed. But this isn't the time or place to change that. But, man, Clutch Talk Awards, LeBron's an MVP, and it's not even close, man. Sorry, I don't mean it like that. Like, I'm saying, obviously, it's close for Jokic. I'm not saying it's not even close, but what I'm trying to say is it's like his resume is just like it's unbelievable. You know?
Nah, bro, you're right. It's not even close, bro. You're right. You're absolutely right, bro.
It's crazy, man. That man, it's LeBron. Oof, man. Talk to me. I know you got LeBron number one for us, but I want to hear
just going off what you said, man. I could give you guys numbers. I could give you guys narratives. But guess what? This man has been putting up the same numbers every single year. His team is always top 2 in the league. Every single year, bro, nothing changes. And Brad Stevens says it best, bro. The NBA just got bored. They just got bored of him dominating the league, bro. So they're like, we got to get more faces out in the NBA. So they're going to give MVP to Giannis, Westbrook, Harden. It happens, bro. But this man's averaging 25, 8, and 8, just cruise control. He's not even trying this season. That's the crazy thing. This is the career low in minutes he's played in his whole career. I think it's like 33 minutes, and he's putting up these numbers. He's just coasting right now, man. And unfortunately, I agree with you. I don't think he's going to win the MVP this year just because the media just hates LeBron. But we all know he deserves it, man. This man has deserved it for the past how many years has he been in the league? 18? He's deserved for 18 years. I'll put it out there.
18 years, for real.
Rookie season play MVP.
It's crazy, man. Because even the games, like I know this season he hasn't missed a game, but last season, like the games that he missed, man, you just see the drop off with the Lakers, man. Like the energy, the getting the offense set together, man. He makes the Lakers go. I don't know what it is about him, bro. He has just this special talent, man, where he just makes his players feel like they're all-stars. And they play like all-stars every single time. And not many players have that capability. Like, I would say Jokic is one of those rare few that have that power where it's like, I make you feel like an all-star, man. Like, I'm going to put you guys in a position where you guys can get buckets. And I got you, man. It's crazy, man. Fine wine is the best way to put it, man. Better with age, bro. Better with age.
LeBron, he has players. He revives players' careers, man. He revived Dwight Howard's career, Rondo's career.
Y'all seen Rondo in Atlanta? It's not looking good.
It's not the same. His basketball IQ is so high to the point where players just feed off of that. They're all like, we trust him on the court to put us in positions to be better. Like, they don't even need to do much, man. It's crazy. It's the crazy how much impact he has, man. I can't even put into words. It's ridiculous.
I feel you 100%. When I watch LeBron, I just sit there in awe sometimes. I'm not going to lie to you.
It's ridiculous, man. The things that he sees out on the floor, man. I mean, like, I don't know if you guys have heard it, bro, but this man, like, lives in the film room. And I could tell, by the way, like, he lives in the film room, man. He just makes the Lakers go, man. And as a Laker fan, man, all I could just sit back and enjoy the show. That's all I could do.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you, man. Like, I honestly, I've been lucky enough to be able to go to a couple of games, like see him live. Mm-hmm. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Just like the way he sees the focus actually when you're live, you can actually see the entire court.
It's
And,
crazy.
like, man, this guy, like the way he thinks about the game is just crazy. The way he's out there, the plays he makes, just everything. It's insane. Look, I've got to see, like, I'm really like, I got to see my favorite player of all time is Kobe. I got to see Kobe live. I got to see LeBron live, and it's crazy. I got to see AD, baby goat. I got to see baby goat AD live. It's just
crazy.
It's crazy to look at it. And honestly, like, man, I went to the game that he passed Jordan in points. So it was actually against the Nuggets.
Nice.
It was against the Nuggets. So I got to see Jokic. Jokic was like 2 years ago. So it was a little bit different, with Jokic being, he was like 23 at the time.
Yeah.
He wasn't the Jokic of today, but he was still very good already and known as a top talent in the league. But it's crazy to see. It was real interesting to see because I think that a lot of players, when they play against LeBron, they play in awe, just like we are in watching. They play in awe. So it's crazy. I mean, imagine like players like that, like Luka, that are like 20, 21, like as long as they remember basketball, LeBron's been in the league, right? So I mean, soon, like he might be able to play with his son.
That's the goal. I don't think he's gonna retire until then. That's the goal for him.
Probably. I think he's probably I think his deal with the Lakers ends when his son could potentially get drafted. So what he's probably gonna do is just wherever his son gets drafted, sign a 1-year contract there, play a year with his son, and then peace out. That's my guess. But
honestly, the way he's playing, man, I think at this point, like we've seen greats go on, like Father Time beats them. Like, let's be real. Like, they're declining in age. I think LeBron's gonna be one of those few players that's gonna walk away in his technically prime.
Yeah, that's what Tom Brady. That's what Tom Brady's doing right now. Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy. It's crazy for sure. And honestly, though, like I'm be straight up. Like, I don't watch much college hoops, let alone high school hoops. So I got no idea how nice Bronny is. But I'm hearing he's good, but he's not amazing. Like, he might be a second round pick. Bro, if he's a second round, that's what I'm hearing. Again, I don't know any of that.
No, it's crazy. No, I agree with you.
Is he hella nice, or like
he's a freshman. I follow high school and college a lot, so he's a freshman. I think he's a sophomore this year, but like you see the skill set is there, but again, he's a kid. Like you can't evaluate.
It's hard to tell when he's like 15 years old. Yeah, no, I know. But what I was thinking is like, man, like if he's a second round pick, I bet you LeBron's going to be like, yo, Genie Bus, you better be picking this kid up in the second round. Because they know.
He's not going to be a second, though. Like,
I think
the NBA knows that wherever Bronny's going, that's where LeBron's going to go. So whoever drafts Bronny is like
drafting two players at once.
Exactly. So I think he's going to go pretty high, unfortunately, which kind of sucks for him because it's not going to be about him. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I think also with Bronny, though, like he has like not the goatness, but he definitely has like that greatness in his genes, and he's been like training with his dad at a young age. So like all that, so like if there's gonna be an age that he's just gonna boom, like he's just gonna take a ridiculous
when his body
exactly
he's
gonna take a ridiculous jump.
Body, exactly when
he like his junior year, he might be crazy.
Well, I mean, we're gonna have to see, but man, like I genuinely think like a player like Bronny's going to have no excuse not to be solid because he's got every resource available in the world, not just money-wise. Like, rich people have all the resources, but, like, Rich and LeBron's son, like, this man could just hit up anybody to train him. Like, remember Shaq's son was training with Kobe, right? Like, that's not just because he's rich. That's because he's Shaq's son, right? So, like, he's got the money. He's got the connections. He's got every resource to be a superstar. So, man, it's going to be exciting to see what he's going to do, and let's see, man. Let's see if he ends up falling to the Lakers or not. He's going to be a Clutch client, though, I'll tell you that. So, Clutch and the Lakers are real tight, so we'll see what happens.
Definitely. But there you have it, everybody. That is our top 5 MVP candidates, man. Faraz, man, we're very, very happy to have you on, bro. You were a great guest, man. You were a great
guest. Thanks for having me, man. I had a blast,
that was solid. It was a lot of fun to do that one.
So what's up? You guys have any last words for us? You got any last words for the fans?
Go James.
Let me think, man. All right, bro. I'm put out Lakers 76ers, as I said, in the finals. I love the NBA, man. I love what y'all do, man. Y'all doing a great job, bro. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
I can't wait to see what else you guys have in stock, man. I'm looking forward to your next couple episodes, guys. Thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate that. Junior, you got anything last to say?
I'm a repeat what Faraz said, and I'm gonna say Lakers in the final. I don't know if it's against the Sixers, but it doesn't matter. Lakers are winning. put anybody in the finals. You can put the Harlem Globetrotters. You can put anybody in the finals. This Lakers gonna win the title.
Exactly,
Put it on wax.
man.
Put it on wax. I said it last year, man. Before the Lakers did anything, I said it all last year. I got so much heat, and it was just so sweet when they won.
Oh man,
Put it on wax. Lakers to win the title. Man.
Exactly, man. I got the same thing. I got Lakers back to back, man. So that's it, y'all. Thank y'all very much for tuning in. As always, y'all, I'm go follow the Instagrams. I'm gonna put Faraz's Instagram right here, right there in this bubble. Y'all go ahead and follow that. I'm gonna put Junior's Instagram right there, right in the bubble, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the Clutch Talk Instagram right here. So y'all go ahead and follow the Clutch Talk Instagram. That's where we drop updates for the episodes. That's where we drop NBA polls and all of that, man. Interactive polls. So y'all go ahead and do that, man. And you know what? Have a fun time watching LeBron. Stop hating on LeBron, y'all. Stop hating on LeBron. Just appreciate his greatness. You know what I'm saying? Before he gone, and then you know what I'm saying? It's R.I.P. Kobe, man, because a lot of people was hating on him and couldn't even get to see that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So just appreciate the greatness while he here, man. Let's stop hating.
Exactly.
Hey, before we head out, man, I just want to say one thing, man. In 2021, man, who would have thought that two big men would be top 3 in the MVP race, man? Shout out to Embiid and Jokic, bro. Bringing back the big men.
Hey, I thought it was dope how we all had the same top 5. By the way, that's real dope.
Absolutely.
Like I was thinking that because there's a lot of stuff. Like you could have put Dame in there. You could have put Paul George in there. AD is top 10 in MVP right now. Like
I think so.
He is top 10. He's not playing like top 5, but he's definitely top 10. So you could have made an argument. You could have put Steph Curry in there. He's been nice.
Steph Curry has been very good.
So it's just so crazy, but it's cool how we all have the same top 5.
Real quick, y'all. Can you think we can come up with a collective top 5 real quick? All right, so who you think we got?
Like aside from the next 5.
No. Like if we could agree on a top 5. We know LeBron won.
All right, LeBron won.
All right. I
think Embiid and Jokic are flippable, man. 2, 3, it's really flippable. So whatever you guys want to put it there.
Junior, I'm not going. You're the odd man out.
All right. No, that's cool. That's cool. I respect it.
You're the odd man out. So Embiid 2, Jokic 3, and then who we got at 4? I'm the odd man out.
KD. It's gonna be KD at 4.
I'm putting KD at
5. So it's just majority on that one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Definitely.
That's my top 5 right now. Absolutely.
And THT at 6. Watch that boy. Caruso at 7. KCP at 8. Kuz at 9.
Yes, sir.
And I forgot AD. Put AD.
I love it.
Put AD at number 2.
Definitely, man. So that's it, y'all. We out here, y'all. Thank you very much for coming on, and y'all stay tuned for more episodes in the future, y'all.
Appreciate it.
We had y'all Clutch Talk out.
Man, peace.